Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Scout Report, and we're looking ahead to a trip to North Wales as we go to Wrexham. We have Matt from the Racecourse Ramble. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm very good, Matt. How are you?
Very, very good. Thank you very much. So this is where I normally go. Tell us about your season since we last met. But I think we played you, and you were second, and now you're third. So not much has changed in that time.
No, I suppose not. But is that a bad thing? It's not. I don't think. Yeah, we've managed to sort of stay there or thereabouts in the top 5 or 6 all through so far. Touch wood, that won't change. I think we've got enough points now, probably that we'll be there or thereabouts in the playoff mix. But obviously the squad has changed. So January came and we saw some changes to the squad, which we could talk about now or after, whatever you prefer. And generally, we still really can't. I'm not saying everybody feels like this. The majority of fans still can't believe it because we were all thinking if we could be halfway up this league, we'll snap your hands off. So we're still a little bit shocked, to be honest, that we've managed to sort of stay there. I know you sort of externally people go, oh yeah, but you've got all the money, etc. But you've still got to spend it wisely. You've got to get performances out of players, haven't you? It doesn't just happen by itself, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And I think one more transfer now. I think January is always important, whether you're at top or bottom. If you have a good January, you're probably going to have a good end to the season. And it feels like from the outside that your January was massive. It feels like you've got some good players in for good money. Just talk about the changes and do they feel like the right changes? A month later, 2 months later.
Yeah, so I get, the headlines were very late in the. We needed a striker. We've had Paul Mullin, whilst he scored away at your place, hasn't been the same player. He missed another pre-season this year, Mulls, and he's not looked the same. And very quickly, it became obvious that Phil Parkinson was looking for something different. So obviously, Ollie Palmer he played early in the season as well. But Parky kept sort of hinting that the forwards weren't doing enough and that he wanted more. A step forward to January, and I think it was deadline day or the day before. There was rumours that we were going to sign Sam Smith from Reading, which seemed pretty unlikely given Reading couldn't replace him because of their embargo. But yet that did happen. Obviously, we pulled Sam Smith out of the bag, and then magically at the same time, Jay Rodriguez ex-Burnley shows up. So but that had been like nobody knew that was that. There was no whispers about that. That was bonkers. So in terms of experience, we've brought in some good experience. If you think about Rodriguez, especially, but we've got a different pairing now, and obviously we've had them for 5-6 games. We're still learning what they do. I think Smith, you can see, he's all action. You'll know him from obviously his time at Reading. He's all action. He doesn't stop, or he hasn't for us so far. Whereas Rodriguez, we're trying to work out where he plays because he doesn't always play alongside Smith. He drops deep a lot. And so we're trying to learn what's going on there. But I mean, if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, you'll have Smith and Rodriguez as your front two again, I'd have laughed at you and gone, "No way, it'll be Mullin and Palmer, surely." But now they find themselves as 6th or 7th choice striker, probably, which is a frightening thought, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We'll talk about Ollie Rathbone and Silver Evan in it, but you're in a position that most teams in the league will want to be in, fighting for that second place. You've got a recent record of very successfully getting promotion from different divisions. Yeah. What's the vibe around Wrexham at the minute? You and Wickham obviously is the big fight, really. What's the vibe and view for these next 2 months, which are going to be massive?
Yeah, so there's the you'll know what it's like, the air of excitement that you might be in a chase. You might be in a chase. Yeah. The mentality I've talked about is for us now is Birmingham. I don't know whether you agree. I'm pretty sure you will agree. Birmingham are gone, aren't they? They're going to take that top spot, right? So basically, what we've got is another. Well, you won't have experienced this. Is another National League, because in the National League only one automatically goes up. And then you have a fight for the playoffs. So we've kind of got another National League, which what we had to go through, obviously, when we got promoted and all the seasons before. So that's the mentality. We've got that. That's how it feels to us. I think generally people are positive, but without being without being arrogant about it. I think generally people are quite excited about what might happen and how it'll play out. And you've just got to believe, haven't you? You've just got to hope that you can be in the mix. And if it comes to the playoffs, we don't have a great record in playoffs, then anything could happen, especially with like Bolton are in there, Huddersfield will be in there, Stockport are likely to be, there's some big boys in there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is big time. We want you guys out of League One. We don't want to be challenging for you guys next year because you will go for it again. So get you guys out.
But remember, big teams will come down as well, won't they? More likely. So it just never. It feels like it never ends. Although Birmingham's an anomaly, isn't it? Just because nobody's going to spend that money again, are they? Surely to God.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. To be fair, I fancy you guys for promotion. There's question marks over Wycombe, how this season's going to go with the new manager and things. I think you guys will get over the line. But there's many twists and turns to come.
Yeah, well, that's the bits that can make me grey, or I don't really want that.
So talk to me. Two players. We'll start. Well, I think we'll start Ollie Rathbone and Seb Revan. When we played you last time, Ollie was just getting into the team. I don't think he was settled yet. Yeah. But I've seen that he has just settled into the player that we knew he was. He is. Sorry, and I assume he's key to you at the minute.
Yeah, well, one of the issues is we've got a dearth in midfield now. We lost Andy Cannon away at Mansfield recently for the season. He did his ACL. Well, that'll be longer than a season probably. And then George Dobson went off at Huddersfield, which was last night. So our midfield is looking a bit thin. So if it's not Matty James, George Dobson, and Ollie Rathbone, I'm not sure who it might be because I'm not sure we've got any left. Although Elliot Lee came on last night, but Elliot Lee's coming back after having a car crash. So obviously, I think they'd rather not play him if they can help it. But Rathbone he's carried us for 5 or 6 weeks. Him and Stephen Fletcher. Our early season, we were carried by Ryan Barnett, who was exceptional, the right wing back. Then who's now been replaced by Ryan Longman. We've got, but Rathbone has been carrying us for the middle part, that sort of middle part of the season. Certainly for 5 or 6 weeks, he was like unbelievable in every game. He was an 8 or a 9 out of 10. He was chipping in with goals. He's got half a dozen goals. So I don't know whether he was doing that for you or not. But he was chipping in with winners. He won us a game at home to Barnsley in like the 90th minute with a goal where he sort of dribbled from the halfway line and stuck one in. So he's been fundamentally key to our season. And I just can't envisage our midfield without him in it. And we've had conversations about if we went up, like how many players would we have to get rid of who are probably not good enough for the Championship. But yet the common consensus is he can probably be comfortable. I'm not saying at the top of the Championship because I think we'd be scrambling around at the bottom of the Championship if we even get there. But I think he would be comfortable because he's got all the skills, hasn't he?
Yes,
and you've seen it more than me, so you've seen him probably dozens of more times than me. So,
yeah, he's got the personality as well. Like we mentioned on your podcast, he drags the team along with him. And I think if you're going to be any battle, you want that man with you, which I think made it even more of a smart sign than it could be without that. Just quickly, Seb Revan's just come into the team, as you mentioned. Again, I think he's pretty popular with Rotherham fans. There's definitely something there, but he's settling just about now. Is that right? Yeah.
So came in at the start of the season. As I said, we had Ryan Barnett on the right and we had Seb Revan on the left. We had, James McLean on the left. Waiting to hear the boos because that generally, apart from Wigan, that's generally what happens, right? And that was the starting pair. And then James McLean got a bit of it. He was coming in for Virtue Trophy games and then disappearing and not really doing anything. He had no continuity. And then he came in recently because James McLean got a hip injury, which we were told was going to be about a week. But Revan has not given the place up since. So, and McLean's making the bench now. So that makes me think he's close to being fit, McLean, but Revan must be doing enough to keep the spot. So he's been, his best game was away at Mansfield. In that game, he terrorised their... I think it was John Bowery who actually played at right wing back for him that day. He terrorised them in that game. And then he's kept, he's been good in all the games. He's not made any mistakes. He's not been caught out. He's tried to get forward. His delivery is good. But in the earlier games when we needed him to, certainly before January, before Longman came in, he'd sometimes fill in at right wing back as well, because he's got a half, should we call it a half decent right foot? He's not the worst, is he? He's comfortable enough to do it. So he was just getting, he wasn't settled. Whereas he is now, and he's playing. So cue Saturday, James McLean coming back. Obviously, now I've given him the big sell, haven't I? This is just how managers make you look. But no, he's settling. He's getting continuity, and he's looking like the player we thought we'd bought, that we weren't seeing when he was getting dropped in and out. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've mentioned on your podcast, I think he's got a bright future, Seb Revan, definitely. I think it's a smart sign of the future, definitely. Let's finish on how do you think the game's going to go? How are they going to play out? And what is your score prediction for Saturday afternoon?
So, what you saw away at your place is kind of how Wrexham play. Wrexham don't play pretty football normally. We try and create moments and opportunities, whether that's through a nice little bit of football or through a direct sort of style. And it can be attritional sometimes. It's not like watching Brazil all the time, is it? Although I think we are starting to see a little bit better football, ironically, now. But I'm not expecting it to be a basketball, a ding dong. I think Wrexham will be trying to just get results now, because we're holding on to the coattails of Wycombe. So I think it could be a late win as well. It could be 1-1 or something like that, or maybe a late winner. Stephen Fletcher coming off the bench, that type of thing. He's done that 5 times this season. You need to be warned. 5 times he's come off the bench and scored the winning goal. So that's quite a lot, isn't it, for a 37-year-old who's like, that's not just doing it once. That is super sub territory now, aren't we? Yeah. So that could be the type of game that we see. And I said earlier, I said Wrexham by a goal. I'm not confident we'll keep a clean sheet. I will say that, and I'm fully aware that you've got a red hot striker or forward, whatever you want to call him, in Nombi. So Wrexham by a goal would be my prediction. And I hope we get some goals. So a 2-1 would be great.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a few subplots for us. You've got Ollie Rathbone, Seb Revan. Stephen Fletcher's a former Sheffield Wednesday player who's makes him not popular with us. So
so he'll get some booze as well. So if McLean and Fletcher are warming up, then it's going to be warfare. Is it? Is that
exactly?
That's good, because that adds to it, doesn't it? It adds to the drama. You might not think that if one of them comes on and scores, but it does add to the drama of it. So that's good.
Yeah, it's what it's about. It's what football's all about. We love a bit of booing and cheering or whatever. We love it. Thank you very much, Matt. We will put the show notes in the show notes. So we'll put the links to Racecourse Ramble podcast. So check those guys out as well.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe and like the video if you liked it. And we'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.